Halloween, la 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 la, Halloween, Halloween, Halloween.
I am Dopey, the Killer Doll, and I dig it! Hello everyone, and welcome to day 28 of Terrorthon. We did something last year which I called Monster Profile, where we take a very famous movie monster and break it down so that you can understand everything about it that you could ever want to know. And I take requests for it, and last year the top request was Chucky, the Killer Doll. So we're going to be spending this video examining who is Chucky, where did he come from, what impact has he had on pop culture and horror movies especially. That's the plan. Let's get right into it. So Chucky, who he be? He be a good guy doll who murders and attempts to steal the souls of children to resume his killing spree in a new body. He does this through voodoo, which he learned before he turned into a doll. And despite being just a little harmless doll, he's practically unkillable. But before he became Chucky, he was a serial killer called Charles Lee Ray. Charles Lee Ray was born on May 1st, 1958 in Hackensack, New Jersey, and killing was in the Lee Ray family for generations. He soon came into contact with a famous serial killer called the Hackensack Slasher, who killed his father right in front of him, and then Charles Lee Ray helped him out and killed his own mother himself. This of course led to Charles Lee Ray being sent to therapy, but unfortunately for him, his therapist Amanda Mixter encouraged his homicidal behaviour, so when Charles got out he began killing more. Later in his life he met his girlfriend Tiffany, who suggested he should be called Chucky instead of Charles. He would later go on to study voodoo in Chicago, which he planned to use for his evil homicidal purposes and not for good as it was intended. And he eventually became known as the Lakeshore Strangler, and then the events of Child's Play put him into the good guy doll's body and the killing spree continued. He was played by Brad Dourif over 7 movies and a TV show which is still running. However, one time he was played by the actor Mark Hamill in the remake of Child's Play. And now to dig into the history of Chucky throughout the franchise. So in Child's Play, as previously stated, he uses this voodoo that he acquired in Chicago to be transferred into a good guy doll in order to escape the detective who's hunting him down for murder. And this doll was later given to a young boy named Andy Barclay, and Chucky would spend the next 3 movies trying to steal Andy's body with his voodoo. And then in Bride of Chucky, the 4th movie, he would reunite with his girlfriend Tiffany, who would later also have her soul transferred to a bride doll, and together they would terrorise a young couple with the aim of stealing their bodies as well. Then in Seed of Chucky, somehow, they had a child. The child was called Glenn or Glenda, nice little Ed Wood reference there, and he resurrected Chucky and Tiffany. And all 3 of them chased the actress Jennifer Tilly with evil plans for her. Tilly actually played Tiffany. And then in the Curse and Cult of Chucky movies, Chucky would target Nika, because Nika's mother Sarah was connected to Chucky's past, and he had now picked up the ability to split his soul into many bodies. And then, after that, years later, the Chucky TV series came out, which is still ongoing, so I unfortunately cannot give you a history of that, at least not yet. So in real life, where did Chucky come from? Well, originally, the movie Child's Play was called Batteries Not Included, and it involved a doll called Buddy who came to life after Andy mixed his blood with the fake doll blood, and then Buddy would have killed Andy's enemies, sort of personifying Andy's rage, but of course this was completely changed. It was rewritten to include Charles Lee Ray by the writer John Lafia, and the Child's Play creator Don Mancini knew that he couldn't call the doll Buddy because of copyright, but he did draw the original designs for Chucky heavily from their designs. But ultimately, Chucky was designed by a man named Kevin Yeager, and as I said, they looked very similar to the My Buddy dolls. The final design was chosen and built from these original sketches. Chucky was originally controlled by 9 puppeteers and had a radio-operated mouth for when he spoke, but he was occasionally played by the little person actor Ed Gale for whenever Chucky had to walk, and as technology improved throughout the movies, less people were needed to operate the doll. Now, how many people out there have not at least heard of Chucky? At least the name, even if they couldn't recognise a picture of him. Like, he is an absolute pop culture horror phenomenon. He popularized the killer toy monster. He did not invent it. The killer toy appeared in all the way back from the 30s and later on. But, as I say, he highly popularized it. And the movie Puppet Master was heavily inspired by it and came out the very next year in 1989 to cash in on the killer toy phenomenon which had swept up the horror world. And then Goosebumps author R.L. Stine created Slappy the Dummy in 1993, heavily based on Chucky. Chucky himself was so popular and recognisable that he appeared on WCW Monday Nitro promoting the movie Bride of Chucky and actually fought wrestlers. I need to see this one day, by the way. He also co-hosted NXT's Halloween Havoc in 2021 and 2022. He's had his own video game called Chucky Slash and Dash in 2013. He's appeared in Robot Chicken. He cameoed in the Ready Player One movie. And the Conjuring creation Annabelle was heavily based on Chucky as well and would not exist without him. And then another killer doll called Robert, a movie of him, came out in 2015 which has had 4 sequels. And then, just this year, we had Megan. None of these movies would exist were it not for the groundwork that Chucky laid. So, I think it's safe to say that he is here to stay, and the horror scene would not be the same had it not been for his inception. So, thank you very much to everyone behind Chucky. We owe you so much. Now, before I say the usual final words, if there are any monsters you'd like to see a profile on for next time, please post it in the comments. Thank you. See you tomorrow.